I'm not greatly skilled at anything, but I can do a few things moderately well. And so I found on this film, finally there was a use for these little things that I knew. You know, I was a dancer and my parents were opera singers and I'm very musically motivated, and Alfonso gave me a whole boxes of CDs with sounds and musical scores and feelings, and so we just created a soundtrack for each scene that I would listen to. I would not talk to anyone, I would just hear sounds that would help me get to a place of emotion. So it was just all these, you know, the choreography was, let me count this out so I can give Alfonso what he needs from A to Z. The music helped me emotionally forget that I was mechanically trying to get from A to Z. And dancing did help, because you're operating at very slow speed. And I'm a fast mover.
In this movie, most of the time you're working on your own, and there's quite a bit of action in it as well. So what do you think is the most challenging part? Is it physically or mentally?
In this case, both. Because he described the box, which was a 9-foot by 9-foot platform with LED lights and a contraption that enclosed you from the waist down as it turned you, and then you had to start where Alfonso or the technical guys told you to start your hand, turn your head, and by the end, at 30% movement, wind up here, while pretending like everything that's going on in your head is new, and you see a piece of George maybe floating by and a piece of Earth. So you had to create an inner life that just didn't exist. And all I had was Alfonso in my head, or music. So physically and mentally, it was the craziest, most bizarre, challenging thing. But you find what you're made of. You figure it out, because if you don't do it, you've destroyed a beautiful story created by Jonas and Alfonso, and you dig deep. You figure it out, whether you're hanging from 20-foot ceilings on cables as people puppeteer you into a wall, or you're locked in a box. George and I rarely had time together, but if I could hear his voice, I felt better. If I could see a piece of his body, I felt better. I was so grateful for any kind of human contact, even if it was just someone's breath. You realized how we take that for granted. So it was challenging, but it was amazing. It was an amazing physical and emotional experience. How do I handle adversity? Have I? Everybody does. Yeah, I've handled some adversity, and I'm sure there's a lot more to come. I haven't always acted or reacted in a way that made me proud, but I didn't make that same mistake twice. And I think that's what I love about adversity, is that it always reminds me of what's really valuable in life. And what's that? Well, technically, she becomes very logical, because that's what she knows. She knows her brain. She knows how to think her way through this machinery and through these technical adversities. But this is already a person who would pretty much counted herself out of the race of life. She didn't care if she lived. She didn't care. She had nothing to live for. And so what is it that is going to make a person who has nothing to live for, or sees no reason to strive for life, want to live? And to me, that was the most amazing part of this film, is what is it that gets you up every morning to try harder when there's not much in life showing you that it's worth it? And my son. So my daily workout regimen, I get up early, I get a lot of sleep. No, I love to dance. I have a background, I was a gymnast, I was a dancer. I don't like gyms, I'm very bored. So it's all just cardio music, just blast the music for an hour and don't stop moving your body, light weights. And I have a 40-pound 3-year-old who still is a baby and insists on being carried. So I must stay strong. So just that. I secretly want to be an athlete next lifetime. I'd like to be a professional athlete. So I think that's sort of my side, my side love is just doing something every day that makes you break a sweat and reminds you that you have a body. And I love it. And it just also calms you down a little bit. But to carry a heavy child is pretty much the workout. Yeah. I did. I was able to speak with several of the astronauts up in the space station, and lucky. just very lucky. My brother-in-law met a winemaker who knew someone, and then I get a call, and they give me a number. So literally, it was that easy that I just called and left a message, and they called me back. Cell reception is amazing, just one way to space. It's very quick. So yes, I was able to talk to them and just ask bizarre questions that, it was all about physicality of what your body does up there, because I was trying to understand what we have no idea how to comprehend down here on Earth. As what Alfonso was saying, you know, action and reaction is completely different up there. So they were incredibly helpful, but what they also did was just gave me an insight as to why they chose to do what they did for a living, and it's such an impassioned love for life on this planet, their life, what exists beyond us, and it humbled me. You know, I was asking silly questions, you know, where do you go to the bathroom? You know, and in the end, I got a viewpoint of these people who we've idolized, these astronauts, and the viewpoint is that they care about life and our life and what we're doing with it so much. That's why they're up there. And so I was really, really honored. They would constantly call me back. And it's just, you know, they were normal people who did extraordinary things, and I was really lucky to have that in.